Okay, yes. So in the previous scenario, we have discussed about how to work with the multiple dimensions. So in Tableau, to work with the multiple dimensions, we are having two ways. Number one, nested table. Next, number two, small multiple. Next, number two, small multiples. So these things we have seen in the previous session. So going forward to the next scenario, first we should know some basics of the Tableau visualization. So let me discuss about some basics of the Tableau visualization, or what exactly the parts of the visualization. So next let me discuss about the parts of the data view or the parts of the visualization. So in Tableau, the complete visualization is known as table. In Tableau, the complete visualization is known as the table. So if you drag and drop the fields into the rows and column, okay, that complete visualization is known as the table. And next, number two, header. What is a header? If you drag and drop any dimension, if you drag and drop the dimension to the row shelf or the column shelf, then those values are known as the header values. Let's say, for example, I'm opening Tableau. I'm connecting to Superstore, and here I'm dragging one dimension, let's say continent. If I drag the dimension, here we are seeing all the dimension values, right? These values are known as the headers. So what is a header? Means the values across the dimension. The values across the dimension in the data view is known as the header. So it is possible to hide these header values also. So how to hide these header values? So how to hide these header values means just simply right click on the component. If you right click on the component, it by default show header got checked. So just uncheck show header. If I uncheck show header, here Tableau is not showing us anything here. Here Tableau has just hidden what all the header values. So again, how to unhide the header? Right click on the component and select show header. Okay. So now here we got all the values of the component. So what what is a header means the values across the dimension is known as the header. So if we drag and drop any dimension, Tableau automatically creates what? Header. The next part or the third part of the visualization is known as an axis. So what is an axis? The values across the measure. The values across the measure in the data view is known as an axis. Okay, the values across the measure in the data view is known as an axis. So if you drag and drop any measure, Tableau going to create an axis like x-axis or y-axis. Here we are having sales in the form of x-axis. Okay, if you drag and drop any measure, Tableau going to create either x-axis or Tableau going to create either y-axis. So when Tableau going to create the x-axis means if you place any measure on the columns, and when Tableau will create the y-axis means if you place any measure, okay, if you place any measure on the y-axis. So placing the measures on the x-axis and the y-axis means just placing the field into the row shelf and into the column shelf. So the values across the measure in the data view, the values across the measure in the data view is known as an axis. So it is possible to hide the axis. So how to hide the axis? So how to hide the axis means just simply right click on the axis. If you right click on the axis, here again here show header got checked. Just uncheck the show header. Now Tableau is hiding mode. Now Tableau is hiding the axis. So again how to show it? Just click on the back button. If you click on the back button, again here Tableau going to show us the values across the measure. Okay. Next, the fourth part of the visualization is known as pane. The fourth part of the visualization is known as what? Pane. So what is pane? The subset of table or the subpart of the table is known as pane. So if we divide the table if we divide the table into multiple parts, okay, if we divide the table into multiple parts, each and every part is known as a pane. Okay, each and every part is known as a pane. So next part is known as cell. So what is cell? If we divide the pane into multiple parts, so each and every part is known as cell, or each and every individual value is known as cell. Okay, each and every individual value is known as cell. So collection of multiple cells is known as a pane. Let me show you that. Here I am driving the customer segment also into the rows. So here how many panes we are having? So here continent is one pane, Asia is one pane, Australia is one pane. So here each and every outer dimension value will act as one pane, because okay, inside the outer dimension here we have some couple of values. Okay, so in this pane here we're having 4 values, right? So each and every value is known as what? Each and every value is known as cell. So one pane contains what? Multiple cells. So the collection of multiple cells is known as a pane. And what this complete visualization is known as? This complete visualization is known as the table, because the collection of multiple panes is known as the table. Okay, the collection of multiple panes is known as the table. So the next part of the visualization, is marks card. Okay, so after placing the fields into the visualization, here I got the bar chart, the line chart, address, right? So here if we place any visualization, if we place any field in the row shelf or column shelf, we are being able to see some chart type. And from where we got the chart? From the marks card. And also here we are seeing the values associated with that. So how we got the values? With the help of the label. So all these constitute what? All these constitute the parts of the visualization. And the last part is known as title, caption, and summary. So these 7 are the parts of the visualization. Okay, these 7 are the parts of the visualization. So what are they? Number 1, table. The complete visualization is known as table. And next, number 2, header. The values across the dimension. Just a minute. Okay. What is a header means? The values across the dimension in the data view is known as a header. And what is an axis means? The values across the measure in the data view is known as an axis. And next, number 4, pane. So the subset of the table, the subset of the table is known as pane. And what is the subset of the pane is known as a cell. So the collection of multiple cells is known as pane, and the collection of multiple panes is known as the table. And the marks card is also the part of the visualization, even with the title, caption, and summary. So these are the parts of any data view in the Tableau. So based on these basics, let's work with the next scenario. Scenario number 7. Scenario number 7. Working with multiple measures. Working with multiple measures. So now in Tableau, till now we have worked with only single measure. Okay, till now just we have worked with only single measure. So now in this scenario, let's discuss about how to work with the multiple measures in Tableau. So how to work with the multiple measures means in Tableau, total we are having 3 ways. To work with the multiple measures in Tableau, total we are having 3 ways. So the 3 ways are number 1, individual axis. Number 1, individual axis. Number 2, dual axis. And next, number 3, blended axis. So in Tableau, to work with the multiple measures, we are having three ways. Number one, individual axis. Number two, dual axis. And next, number three, blended axis. So let's start with the first one, individual axis. So I will explain this individual axis with an example. So I am taking task 1. In my task 1, I would like to show year-wise total sales and total profits. Total sales and total profits. So how to show year-wise total sales and total profits. So here how many dimensions we are having? Here we are having one dimension, which is year, and two measures here we are having. Okay, total sales and the total profits. So how to build this? So just cut a new sheet or clear the sheet. So just drag the year. So just drag the order date and drop it into rows. Here Tableau going to show us the year. So here we have to show year-wise total sales and total profits. So how to get total sales? From the measures, just drag the sales and just drop it into the columns. From the measures, just drag the sales and drop it into the columns. So here we are seeing year-wise total sales, and here we want to show total profits. So if we drag and drop any measure, what Tableau going to create? An axis. So now here we have one more measure. What is that? Profit. So just drag the profit and drop it into columns. So here we are seeing two axes. Just observe carefully here. Here we are seeing the sales axis and also the profit axis. So what is an individual axis chart means? Okay, if we display each and every measure with a separate axis, if we display each and every measure with a separate axis or an individual axis, then such a kind of visualizations are known as individual axis charts. So we have 10 measures and we show each and every measure with a separate axis. Those are known as what? Individual axis charts. So in individual axis charts, how Tableau will compare the measures means on individual panes. See here, Tableau is placing sales on the separate pane and profit also on the separate pane. And here one more thing is, if I remove the profit, here just we are having, okay, if you place the year and if you place the sum of sales, here just I am having only one marks. Let me drag the profit and drop it into columns. Okay, just observe carefully. Yes, after dragging and dropping the profit into the columns, here the marks card has been divided into three parts. Here we are seeing the sales marks card, profit marks card, and also all marks card. Okay, and also all marks card. Okay, let me show you again. So let me remove the profit. If I have one measure, we are having only one marks card. Let me take the second measure. If I take the second measure, then here we are having multiple marks cards. So when Tableau going to create the multiple marks cards? So when Tableau going to create the multiple marks cards means if you have the multiple axes. If you have the multiple axes, so for each and every axis, Tableau going to create a separate marks card, and Tableau going to create one more marks card known as all. What all indicates? All indicates it is a combined marks card for all the measures. So for all the measures, if you want to add one single color means, so simply if I drag any field into the color, it is going to apply the same color to all the measures. So here I am dragging, let's say I am dragging here order date and I am dropping into color. Here Tableau is coloring both the sales and the profit. Whereas instead of dragging into all, here what I will do is instead of dragging any field into the color of all, I will go to the sales card. Here I'll go to sales marks card and I will drag the field into the sales marks card. If I drag the field into the sales marks card and if I drop it into color, now Tableau going to color. Now here Tableau going to color only the sales but not profit. Here profit is showing in the gray color. Okay. So, so this all is going to color the complete visualization and the and these individual marks cards, they're going to color only that pane. Okay, only that particular pane. So it's an example for the individual axis. So in individual axis, what Tableau going to show here is Tableau going to display each and every measure with a separate axis and that too on the separate pane. So in short, individual pane plus individual axis. Okay, individual axis means individual pane plus individual axis. Okay, let me discuss about one more task. So in my task 2, I'm going to discuss about department wise, region wise, total order quantity, and number of customers. Department wise, region wise, total order quantity and number of customers. So how to build this? So just create a new sheet. So department wise, region wise. So how to get department? So just go to the product. In the product we're having the department. Just drag a department. So here we're having two dimensions. So one is department and the other is region. So department wise, region wise. Here we have to show total order quantity. Just drag the total order quantity. And also here we have to show the number of orders. Okay, total order quantity and the number of customers. So how to get the number of customers? We have to take customer ID and we have to count all the customers. So just drag the customer ID and drop it into columns and take the aggregation as count listing. Okay, take the aggregation as count listing. And again here Tableau has created separate marks card for order quantity and separate marks card for customer. Here I would like to color code the order quantity with the department. So how to color code the order quantity with the department? Just drag the department and drop it into the color of the order quantity. And here I would like to color code the customer or the number of customers with the number of customers itself. So how to color code the number of customers with the number of customers? Just hold the control button. Okay, and just simply drag it. It is shortcut ways. Okay, just simply drag it and drop it into the color of the customer ID. So we are coloring this order quantity with the department and the number of customers with the number of customers itself. So in this way we can able to perform the multi-field color coding. So how to perform the multi-field color coding means with the help of the multiple marks cards. So when we will get the multiple marks cards, we have the multiple axes. So once you click on all, and if you see the color, in the color here Tableau going to show us the multiple fields. Okay, now let me discuss the next task. Let me discuss one more task. In my next task 3, I am going to show month-wise number of orders, number of customers, total sales and total profits. I would like to show month-wise number of orders, number of customers, total sales and total profits. So how to build this? So let me get a new sheet. So how to get month-wise? So just drag the order date and drop it into rows. So we have to show month-wise. Select month-wise, number of orders and number of customers. So just drag the order ID and drop it into columns. So change the aggregation to count listing. So to show the month-wise number of orders. So how to get the number of customers, just drag the customer ID and drop it into the rows and change the aggregation to distinct. So here you want to show month-wise number of orders, number of customers, total sales and total profits. So drag the sales and drop it into rows. Okay, and drag the profits and drop it into rows. So here, just observe carefully. Here, how many marks cards we are having? It total we are having 5 marks cards because 4 for the individual measures and all is for all the measures. So let me color all, or let me color each and every month. So this month belongs to which year? Okay, this month belongs to which year? So once you drag the order date into the rows, here we are having 4 years. Okay, 2010 to 2013. It means that month belongs to, okay, all the 4 years. So let me color code the month with the year for all the measures. So how to color code? Just drag the order date and drop into the color of all. So now it is showing you 4 lines. For each and every measure here I will be showing you 4 lines. So here each and every line indicates the respective year. So this one indicates 2013 and this one indicates 2012. This indicates 2011 and the last one indicates 2010. Okay. So here in this example I have taken 4 measures. So what is the maximum number of axes we can create with the individual axes? There is no limit case because in the row shelf or in the column shelf max we can place up to 16 dimensions, but there is no limit for the measures. So we can place n number of measures. Okay, so the bottom line is in the individual axis we can able to show n number of measures with n number of axes and even with the n number of panes. Okay, so it's about the individual axis. And next let me start the blended axis. Number 2, blended axis. So what is axis? It is also called as axis blending. So what is axis blending? So blending means mixing. Blending means mixing. So if we mix all the axes into a single axis, if we mix all the individual axes into a single axis, then it is known as the blended axis. I will explain this with an example. So I'm taking the same task, year wise total sales and total profits. I would like to show in the form of blended axis. So how to achieve this? So one key thing is the default way to work with the multiple measures is individual axis. Okay, the default way to work with the multiple measures is individual axis, because with the individual axis it doesn't require any extra setup. Just we have to drag and drop the multiple measures into the row shelf or into the column shelf. So here how to show year wise total sales and total profits. So just go to Tableau, just create a new sheet. Okay, so now here how to display year wise total sales and total profits means just drag the order date and drop it into rows, and just drag the sales and drop it into columns. Here we got year wise total sales. So we have to show year wise total sales and total profits in the form of axis blending. So axis blending is mixing all the axes into a single axis. So here we are seeing the sales axis. So how to mix the profit into the same axis? So just observe carefully, just drag the profit and drop it into the existing axis. Okay, just drag the profit and drop it into the existing axis. If you drag the profit and if you drop it into the existing axis, your tableau is showing the one name known as measure value, and your tableau is coloring with the measure names. It means what is happening here? Your tableau is making use of the measure names and the measure values. So these measure names and measure values are the default fields. If you connect to any data source, if we connect to any data source, Tableau going to create three fields by default. The three fields are measure names, number of records, and the measure values. Okay, measure names, number of records, and the measure values. So this measure names and measure values are used to create these measure names and measure values are used to create the axis blending views or the combined axis. This axis is also known as the combined axis. Okay, so the measure names and measure values are used to create the combined axis visualization. So here how many marks cards we are having? Just we are having only one marks card. Why? Because we are having only one axis. So we have one axis, we used to have only one marks card. When Tableau will create multiple marks cards, if we have the multiple axes. So let me show you again how to perform the axis blending means. Just take your required dimension and drop it into either rows or columns. Just drag the first measure, sales. Next, drag the second measure, which is profit. So just drag the second measure, profit, and drop it into the existing axis. Okay, and drop it into the existing axis. So here, what Tableau is making use of? Here, Tableau is making use of measure names and the measure values. So with the help of the measure names and the measure values, Tableau will perform what? Axis blending, or Tableau going to create the combined axis view. So what this measure names and measure values contains? This measure names contains names of the combined measure. So here we have combining two measures. So the measure names are sales and profits, and this measure value contains values of the combined measures. So here we have combined two values, sales and the profit. So where these values will be located means on the measure values axis. So in this way, in the axis blending, how many measures we can able to mix? Okay, on the axis blending, here how many measures we can able to mix? There is no limit for that. Here we can able to mix n number of measures. So let me discuss the next task. The same task which I have discussed in the individual axis. So I would like to show department-wise, region-wise, total order quantity and the number of customers. So here the problem is the two measures are having two different aggregations. Then how to mix? In the previous case, both the measures are having the same aggregation. Now in this case, department-wise, region-wise, total order quantity and the number of customers. So just go to Tableau, just create a new sheet. Just take the department. So department wise, region wise, here we have to show total order quantity. So how to get total order quantity? Drag the order quantity and drop it into columns. And also here we want to show number of customers. So just drag the customer ID. How to perform axis blending? Just drag the customer ID and drop it into the existing axis. Okay, just drag the customer ID and drop it into the existing axis. So if I drop it into the existing axis, see here what we're seeing, measure value and the measure names. So when you will get this measure names and measure values means only with the axis blending. So it is showing sum of order quantity and sum of customer ID on the measure values. So instead of taking sum, here you have to get rid of count. So how to get count? Just simply right click on it and change the aggregation to count list. So here we got the total order quantity and also the count of customers. So here I would like to color the visualization with the measure name. So how to color? Just hold the control button, drag the measure names and drop it into color. Okay, just hold the control button, drag the measure names and drop it into color. So here we go, department wise, region wise, total order quantity and the count of customers. Let me discuss the next example. Here I am having 4 measures. So how to achieve this? So one shortcut is in the axis blending we still have only one axis. So it means we still have only one marks cut. We don't get multiple marks cuts. So now the last example with axis blending. So here I would like to show month-wise number of orders, number of customers, total sales, and average profits. Okay, and average profits. Or let me take only the sales instead of taking this. Let me take month-wise, total sales, average sales, min sales, and max sales in the form of axis blending. So how to achieve this? So just simply go to Tableau, create a new sheet. So just get the month, drag the date and drop it to rows. So how to get the month? Right click on it and click on month. So here we got the month. Here we want to show month wise total sales. So how to get the total sales? Just drag the sales and drop it into columns. So here we got the month wise total sales, and also here we want average sales. So how to get the average sales? Just drag the sales and drop it into the existing axis. Okay, but if you observe carefully here, Tableau is not performing any axis blending. See here Tableau is not performing any axis blending after dragging and dropping the sales into the existing axis. Why? What's the reason? So when Tableau, it won't perform the axis blending means if both the measures are having the same aggregation. If both the measures are having the same aggregation and they are same. Here I am having sum of sales, and if I drag the sales again, here what Tableau is taking, again sum of sales. So if the two measures are same, then it is not possible to perform the axis blending. So then how to perform? Here how to perform means you just change the aggregation of the sales to average. Just here I'm changing the aggregation to average. Now here I'm having average sales. So now drag the sales. Now drag the sales and drop it into the existing axis. Now if I drag the sales and if I drop it into the existing axis, now here Tableau is taking the aggregation as sum. So now just take the next step. Now just take the sales again to show the min sales. If I drag it sales again and if I drop it here, again here Tableau is not taking because already here we are having sum of sales. So it means for one measure we can take the aggregation only for once. We cannot take for multiple times. So now just I am changing this aggregation to minimum. Okay, now let me drag the sales and drop it into the measure values. So here I'm not seeing the measure values, so just I'm organizing my workspace. Just replacing the color window in the right side visualization. So again I'm changing this aggregation to maximum. So here we got average, minimum and maximum, and again I'm trying the sales and I'm dropping it into the measure values, and here I got sum. So here total we're having four fields with the same measure but of different aggregations. So here we got only one mark span. So if you want to build the axis blending with the same measure name but with the different aggregations, please make sure on the field just take the different aggregations. If you take the same aggregation, then Tableau it won't perform the blending. So it's all about the data blending. Sorry, it's all about the axis blending, not the data blending. And the last way to work with the multiple measures is dual axis. Okay, the third way to work with the multiple measures is dual axis. So what is dual axis? So what individual axis is doing? The individual axis is showing each and every measure with a separate axis and with a separate pane. Okay, individual axis is displaying each and every measure with a separate axis and on the separate pane, whereas axis blending is showing multiple measures on the single pane with the single axis. Okay, axis blending is showing multiple measures on the single pane and also with the single axis. Okay, one important note is individual axis equal to so individual panes plus individual axis, whereas blended axis equal to single pane plus single axis. Now here I would like to compare two measures with two different axes. Okay, two measures with two different axes. It means two individual axes but on the same pane. On the same pane, I would like to compare two measures with two different axes but on the same pane. Then how to perform that comparison? With the help of the dual axis. With the help of the dual axis. With the help of the dual axis, we can able to compare multiple measures on a single pane with individual axis. Okay, with the individual axis, we can able to compare the multiple measures on a single pane. So let me show you with an example. I'm taking the dual axis. So I'm taking year-wise total sales and total profits in the form of the dual axis. I'm taking year-wise total sales and total profits with the help of the dual axis. So how to build this? Just go to Tableau. So create a new sheet. So how to get year? Just drag the year and drop it into columns. Year-wise sale, just drag the sales and drop it into the rows. So now here how to perform the dual axis is, the setup is, just here we have to drag the second measure and drop it into the other end of the axis. Just here we have to drag the second measure and drop it into the other end of the axis. So just drag the profit and drop it into the other end of the sales axis. Here I am dragging the second measure called as profit and I am dropping it into the other end of the axis. So here we are having the sales axis, here we are having the profit axis. Let me show you this again. So how to build a dual axis chart means, just take the second measure and drag the second measure into the other end of the existing axis. Here I am having the sales axis. Just drag the second measure into the other end of the existing axis. So now here we are comparing two measures, sales and the profit. Here we are having the sales axis and also here we are having the profit axis, but both the sales and profits are comparing on the single pane. But both the sales and profits are comparing on the single pane. So what individual axis chart, what dual axis charts will do means, dual axis chart, it will take two measures with the two different axes but on the single pane. So on the dual axis, how many maximum number of measures we can able to compare? On the dual axis, how many maximum number of measures we can able to compare? On the dual axis, maximum we can compare only two. On the dual axis, maximum we can compare only two. So one important certification question is, what is the maximum number of axes? What is the maximum number of axes we can create with the dual axis charts? With the dual axis charts, maximum we can create up to 4 axes. With the dual axis charts, maximum we can create up to 4 axes. Now here we're having only 2 axes, right? So in dual axis, what is the meaning of dual? 2. So in the dual axis, we can able to compare only 2 measures, right? So the 2 measures means 2 axes. Then how to create a dual axis chart with 4 measures? How to create a dual axis chart with 4 measures? So just observe carefully. So how to create a dual axis chart with 4 measures means, so here I'm taking here sales and profits, and I'm taking one more measure called as order quantity, and I'm dropping it into my columns. Okay, just I'm taking my third measure order quantity and I'm dropping into my columns. So now here I'm having sales, profit. Here sales and profits are comparing, and here tableau is showing one more axis known as the order quantity axis. Now take the fourth measure. Take the fourth measure, shipping cost. Any measure, here I'm taking shipping cost. Just drag the fourth measure and drop it into the other end of the order quantity. Okay, drop it into the other end of the order quantity. So here we got sales axis, shipping cost, order quantity, and the profit. But here tableau is showing only the first two measures. So what are the first two measures? Sales and the profit. Okay, sales and the profit are the first two measures. So it means we can able to compare only two measures, but we can able to create a dual axis chart with maximum of 4 axes. Okay, with maximum of 4 axes. So let's discuss one more task on the dual axis. Task 2. So in the dual axis, how many marks cards your tableau is creating? See here, in the dual axis, okay, in the dual axis, if you observe carefully, your tableau is creating only 2 marks cards, okay, sales and the profit. So sales is 1 marks card and the profit is the other marks card. Because here we have the individual axis, so tableau going to create only 2 marks cards, but not 4. In my next task, I am going to discuss about department wise, region wise, total order quantity, and the number of customers. So just try to build this. Just take the department and take the region. So department wise, region wise, total order quantity. So just find order quantity and drop it into columns. Department wise, region wise, total order quantity, and the number of customers. So how to get number of customers? Just drag the customer ID and drop it into the other end of the axis. So if I drop it into the other end of the axis, here we got the customer ID. Just change the aggregation of the customer ID to the count listing. So here we got both the things. So but here both the order quantity and the customers are comparing on the same page. So next task. Here the task 3 is month-wise total sales, average sales, mean sales and max sales. So on the dual axis, we cannot compare 4 measures, but we can create it 4 axes. So if we want to compare 4 measures, it is not possible because on the dual axis, at a time we can able to compare only 2 measures. So it's all about the individual axis, okay, the axis blending and the dual axis. So when we have to use the dual axis, when we have to use the dual axis means dual axis is more appropriate. Dual axis is more appropriate if we want to compare two measures having different scale of units. Dual axis is more appropriate or it is more effective if we want to compare the two measures having the different scale of units. What does it mean? If we take, let's say for example, sales and profit. So sales and profits would contain a similar scale of units, like in terms of floating numbers. So the sales would be in terms of million and profit would be, okay, either in terms of lakhs. So it means both the sales and profit, they are having a similar scale of units in terms of the floating numbers. Whereas if you take the sales and discount, so the sales is the bigger number and what about the discount? Discount contains the decimal. So sales and discounts are having the different scale of units. So the measures having the different scale of units, then the best way is dual axis. If the measures have a similar scale of units, then the best way is axis blending. So if we want to compare the sales and discount in the form of axis blending means we have to combine both the sales and discount in the form of single axis, right? So how to combine sales and discount into single axis? Just take the sales. So here we got the region-wise sales. So now take the discount, drag the discount and drop it into the existing axis. But here the problem is sales value should be very high, okay, in terms of millions. But what about the discount? Discount would be in terms of this percentage. So if you want to compare these two measures and these two measures are having a different scale of units, the better way or the best way is just go with the dual axis. Why dual axis? In dual axis, Tableau going to create okay, two different axes because here we are not mixing any axes. So it is more appropriate or more effective if you want to compare the two measures and the different scale of units means then go with the dual axis. And axis blending is more appropriate if you want to compare the two measures having the similar scale of units. So among these three ways, only two, individual and the dual, they are going to create the multiple marks because they are going to create the multiple axes. So now based on this assumption, let's work with the next type of things, combination charts. What are combination charts? If we combine multiple chart types in a single worksheet, then those type of charts are known as the combination charts. So let's say for example, I'm taking one sheet here, I'm taking continent, I'm taking sales. So if you take sales here, what tab are going to give us here? The bar chart, and I'm taking profit. Again here what tab are going to give us here? Profit. So it means what? By default in a single visualization, Tableau is giving us just only one chart type. But here I would like to take one chart as bar and the other chart as say like line or square or circle. So how to mix multiple chart types in one single visualization? So how to mix means with the help of the combination charts. So how to perform combination charts? So how to perform combination charts means with the multiple marks cards. With the multiple marks cards, we can able to build the combination charts. Okay. So when Tableau will create the multiple marks cards with the individual axis and with the dual axis, Tableau going to create the combination chart because they're going to create the multiple marks cards. So here I'm taking one example. Here what I'm taking is I'm taking year-wise total sales and total profits. So here I would like to show total sales in the form of bar chart, and total profits in the form of line chart. So how to display year-wise total sales in the form of bar and total profits in the form of line? So we can achieve it in two ways, individual and the dual. So let me here I'm taking the individual first because the default way to work with the multiple metrics is individual chart. Here I'm taking year-wise total sales and total profits. So as here we are having the multiple marks cards, just go to the sum of sales marks card and click on bar chart. So now here we are showing total sales in the form of bar and the total profits in the form of line. So in the single worksheet here what we have done, the single worksheet here we have mixed two chart types. It is with the individual axis. Okay. So now how to work with the dual axis? So just take the holiday and take the sales. So how to get the dual axis? Just take the second measure and drop it into the other end of the axis. So here we got the sales axis and here we got the profit axis. So now just click on sales and select the bar chart. So now here the profit is indicating with what? With the line. So the combination charts are very good with the dual axis because the dual axis it is going to compare two measures on a single pane. What about individual axis? Individual axis, it is going to compare two measures on two different planes. Okay, so when we can able to create the combination charts means with the individual axis and with the dual axis. But the combination charts are not possible with the axis blending or with the blended axis, because in the blended axis we used to have only one axis. So let's discuss one more task. So let's display department wise, region wise, total order quantity and the number of customers. Okay, so department wise, region wise, total order quantity and the number of customers. I would like to show the total order quantity in the form of circle and the number of customers in the form of square or in the form of area chart. And I would like to color the area chart. I would like to color the area chart with the region. Okay, color code this number of customers with color code with the region. So how to achieve this? Just go to Tableau. So take the department. I'm creating a new sheet. Take the department. So department wise, region wise, total order quantity and the number of customers. I'm taking in the form of individual access first. I'm taking the aggregation to count listing. So total order quantity in the form of circle. Okay, and the number of customers in the form of area chart. In the form of area chart. So I'm just swapping the fields. Just I would like to color the number of customers with the region. Just drag the region and drop it into the color. Okay, so yes, it is. Let's click on paste. Yes, here if I click on any region, Tableau is showing all the regions in the form of the area chart. Or let's say I would like to color the particular area chart with the number of customers. So how to color with the number of customers? Just hold the control button, drag the customer ID and drop it to the color of the area chart. So we can color area with either dimension or with the measure. And I would like to color the circles with the region. So just hold the control button, drag the region and drop it into color. Okay. So in this way we can able to build the combination charts. So now how to achieve with the dual axis? Just drag the department and the region. So department wise, region wise, total order quantity. So how to get the dual axis? Just drag the customer count and drop it into other end of the axis and change the aggregation to count listing. So now click on the order quantity is circle, click on the number of customers and select the area and select the area. So by default it is something with the measure names. Just remove the measure names. How to remove it? Just drag it and drop it down. Drag it. Okay, now just go to the customer ID, hold the control button, drag it and drop it into color. So we can color like this. Okay, so now in these two combination chart examples, just now taken only two measures. So now how to build a combination chart if you have more than two measures? Because on the dual axis at a time we can able to compare only two measures, right? So Tableau going to create what? Only two max cards. So if you take more than two measures means we need those many max cards. So it means the combination charts are not possible. Combination charts are not possible with the dual axis if you have more than two measures. If you have more than two measures, then the combination charts are not possible. So let me discuss one more task. Let me show you month-wise total sales, average sales, min sales, max sales in the form of the combination charts, where total sales in the form of bar and average sales in the form of line and min sales in the form of circle and max sales in the form of square and max sales in the form of square. So how to achieve this? Just create a new sheet, take month, how to get month, just write down a date and drop it into rows. Just get the month. So month wise total sales, just drag the sales, drop it into columns. Next average sales, just drag it and drop it into the columns again and change the aggregation to average. Next min sales, just drag the sales and drop it into columns. Okay, change the aggregation to minimum. Now again drag the sales and drop it into columns. Change the aggregation to maximum. So here we got sum, average, min and max. So we have to show the total sales in the form of bar, average sales in the form of line. Okay, so total sales means what? Sum of sales in the form of bar and average sales in the form of line and min sales in the form of circle and max sales in the form of square. So just color the sum of sales with sum of sales itself. So how to color sum of sales? Sum of sales, just drag the sum of sales by holding control button and drop it into color. And I would like to color the average sales or min sales with the month. So how to color min sales with the month? Hold the control, drag the min sales and drop it into color. And I would like to color this line with the year. So just go to the sum of sales, just drag the date and drop it into color. So here we're counting with the year. So in this way here we can take n number of measures and we can able to build the combination charts. Okay, guys, so just a minute. If you have the measures more than 2, only way is individual axis. If we have up to 2 measures, we can able to build the combination charts with the individual and also with the dual. So it's all about working with the multiple measures. So if you have any questions, please post your questions.